Welcome in, everybody, whether you're on the East Coast, West Coast, or around the world. This is Coast to Coast. Dealing with technical problems on a Monday morning feels like kind of a normal Monday to me. How's it going, guys?
Good. Doing wonderful. How was your guys' Father's Day?
So so mine was amazing. My wife, she knows I like, a good bourbon every now and then. So so I woke up, was it Saturday? No, yeah, is it Saturday, Monday? What day was Father Day? Saturday or
Sunday.
well, it was I think we celebrated ours on a Saturday. So Saturday morning, I wake up Saturday morning, and the wife tells me I got a Whiskey Hour podcast T-shirt that I wear sometimes. And she's like, "Put on your podcast T-shirt." And I'm like, "All right, I don't know what this is gonna go, but okay." So we go to this the Specs liquor store. It's a big liquor store, whatever, and they're doing a bourbon drop for Father's Day, and so they get all the premium bourbons. I mean, you can't get a bourbon there for less than $100. I think is the cheapest bottle. So we go there, and my wife arranged it to where I could do a whole podcast from that liquor store. So I got to interview all the people, the customers, the vendors.
Oh, cool.
I'm inside the store. It was honestly, it was. I got to talk different liquors and stuff with some of the aficionados, and it was a good time, man. I got to tell you, shout out to Specs. Thank you. And I'm not trying to give you a plug, but shout out and thanks for the wife. So it was a great time.
I mean, you got to give them a plug. They let you do the show from there. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
How about
Awesome.
you?
I spent an awful lot of time on the couch with my kids. Like we were just watching movies, and
Cool.
they a lot less time on their phones, and just kind of watching movies and stuff like that. So I mean, it's it's the time that I get with them. It's like it's always usually crazy, like we're running around doing something or what have you. So just the chill time was kind of cool.
Nice.
I wonder if we'll get a Philly sports guy junior out of one of Pac's children's.
Negative.
No, not gonna carry on the legacy.
My son is not a sports fan, and my daughter is she's also not a sports fan, but definitely she's not even a people person. When I say that, she's just, big crowds don't do it for her. She would prefer more private settings and such. Because I wanted to take him to the Phillies game.
Introvert.
Yeah, I mean, I wanted to take him to the Phillies game, and she's like, I don't want to go. And she's like, I don't want to go, and why don't you get back to me later with something else that you'd want to do, and I'll turn that down too.
But hey, she probably said, "I'll tell you what, Pax, you or Daddy, you send me your top 5 things, and we'll see if one sticks."
Yeah, it was fun. It was a good time. We got to
Awesome.
so just chill and watch some movies. We watched the entire trilogy of Unbreakable.
Oh wow.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
So, which is, after watching it, I've seen it a couple of times, but I watched it in succession this time, and I've now realized, not that I am the biggest movie critic whatsoever, but the movie Split was really tough to watch in the middle of that. Like, it's a shame, like the storyline was just really difficult to tell.
Huh.
In that regard.
Okay.
So it's like you have Unbreakable, which is, I mean, Bruce Willis, doing his thing. And unfortunately, there will never be, I mean, because they killed off these characters in the movie and stuff. So, but so there'll never be like a reboot of this, you know what I mean? Where these guys are both still alive type thing. Which is a shame. I kind of think that there would have been able to be a reboot, but obviously Bruce Willis isn't Bruce Willis anymore, even because of some of the medical stuff that he's going through lately. But I just find that that story was really tough to tell, and that it made things really difficult. But however, from the end of one, or the end of Unbreakable, till really just about the end of Split, on. It's just the split part. I mean, because you're trying to talk about a guy who's got all these different personalities and then can change into this other human thing.
All right.
So I don't know. I
Yeah.
think
No, it was the actor that played that guy though was incredible.
James McAvoy.
Yeah. He did a fantastic job doing it.
Yes, he really did a good job. Being able to switch like that, like
Exactly.
it's just, and then all right, here I am, this guy, and here I am, this guy. Had to have been really difficult to kind of do that.
Well, it shows he has some crazy range as an actor. Like
Yes.
you can absolutely ask him to do whatever, as opposed to the actors that you watch. You're like, okay, you play the same person in every film you've ever been in. But yeah, and then on my end, I tend to go visit my dad on a different weekend, because they live. My parents live about an hour and a half to 2 hours with no traffic, but on a holiday, it'll take you every bit of 3 to 4 hours. So usually I'm like, okay, I will see you guys like next weekend. Avoid that 8 hours of driving.
Yeah, my biggest dilemma was, what do I get my dad for Father's Day? The wife says, get him a Home Depot card. And I'm like, man, my dad's 75 years old. What's he gonna do with the Home Depot card? So I got him a movie and a what was it? Movie and or dinner and a movie gift card. So I want him going that way. But
I got you.
But
And when I actually have to redraw, the person that won never got back to me. So
wow.
Yeah. So I actually have to redraw. So I'll end up doing that this weekend. So yeah, weird enough. They never responded. So they lose their signature card. So
damn,
I gave them a week. Go. Yeah,
So
and this was part of it too. Downtown was absolutely nuts here. One of our major highways was closed, so everybody had to drive through the city. And then we also had the protests, and we had, the Mariners are home. We had the pro camp that I was coaching at. Was Saturday, and so I mean, like, traffic was just absolutely nuts. So yeah, it was. It was.
How did the camp go?
Camp was good. It was fun. It was cool. Getting to chat with Jake Bobo for a little bit, and so it's a ton of fun. Done it a couple of years now, so I'll go back next year. Like it was always a fun time. And then Friday, right? I had my call with the Storm.
Nice.
And so that was cool. I will be credentialed for their next game, which is cool.
Awesome.
And on top of that, their media team is actually really on top of it. Ever since that conversation, they've let me zoom in to their press conferences for their away games. So that's been really cool. So yeah, no, I'm excited to be able to work with the Storm and the WNBA. Like, that's going to be a blast.
So, and was it when you spoke with them, I guess it was just, hey, listen, this is how we vet, and we just automatically say no. And if you decide to ask a question, we decide to figure out whether we want to talk to you or not.
Yeah, kind of, right? Like they, if you're a major news outlet, they probably let you in, but because nobody knows who I am, which fair enough. They're like, hey, we want to know what it is you're trying to bring, and who you are, and have a conversation to put a voice to this thing. And so it was cool. They it was a great conversation. It was only about 10 minutes or so. And so, yeah, I'm looking forward to being able to, work with the team. I think it's going to be a lot of fun.
Awesome.
Okay.
Yeah, no,
They could have had a better. Oh, good.
No, I'm waiting to hear from you.
Oh, I was just going to say they could have had a better game, though. They come off of that knocking off an undefeated team. They go up against Golden State, which ended up being a game. They were about as flat-looking a basketball team as you could have been until late in the fourth quarter, where they made it respectable right at the end. But, I mean, they were getting smoked the whole game.
So, which brings me back to, I thought that Golden State did not have a team, and they were about to get a team.
They got it this year. It's the Valkyrie?
Well, I didn't realize Golden State even had a damn WNBA team. That's it.
Yeah. It's
no,
new.
I thought because I thought so, and because I know that you guys had mentioned it.
Huh.
And I'm like, no, I thought I saw the Golden State had a team.
Yes.
So they do have a team, and that is official. So.
Yeah, the Valkyrie. Yeah.
Okay.
Huh.
Yeah,
okay.
and I got to imagine
I mean
that they need.
Sorry, there's
that
wicked
they needed. Yeah, I know. That they need to have a female team in San Francisco as quickly as possible. That's kind of one of the things that I can imagine was a real statement.
Yeah, well, and they have a good crowd presence, I mean, so it was it was too bad to see the Storm come out so flat, though. Like, normally their defense is a swarming defense. They create a lot of turnovers, stuff like that. Offensive side of the ball, they tend to be a little bit inconsistent. 3/4 of this game, well, the entire first half, they didn't have an offensive board. Yeah, no, I mean, it was crazy how slow this team started. And I don't know if it was just they came off a big win, and a lot of times that's an emotional thing you can't quite match, or was it a trap game? They were already kind of looking past them. But something wasn't right. Not only were baskets not necessarily falling, but I mean, they didn't look like they had the effort that they normally do. So the fourth quarter, they turned it on. They got it within 4, I think, at the end of the game. Had an opportunity to win, or, to get in and tie. But even in the closing seconds, they turned the ball over a couple of times. Not going to win that way. The broadcast dropped out with a minute to go.
Oh, wow.
So it was frozen. Didn't even get to watch the closing minute. They're down by 4. They're surging back. Screen freezes. Can't watch the rest of the game. The commentary, it froze on their end too. So they're trying to do the commentary voiceover with just the WNBA's play-by-play from their app.
Wow. Cliffhanger. Stay tuned to tomorrow to find out how this game ends.
Now, I mean, their play-by-play is actually, pretty quick, but at the same time, like, how does your broadcast drop out a minute to go in the fourth?
Somebody pull the plug.
Closing in on a tie game, and it's not like it was an obscure. Right? And it's not like it was an obscure station, right? This was the CW. In theory, like they paid their bill.
That's
crazy
crazy
stuff.
Never a dull moment.
And then I guess sticking with the WNBA, Caitlin Clark comes back and puts up 32, and they knock off the only other undefeated team.
That was
Angel Reese. Right? Yep. And then Angel Reese has her first triple-double outside of Caitlin Clark. Yep. And only the second one this year for the league. The only other person to have one is Caitlin Clark. So
I think she said Angel Reese was like the second youngest, I guess, to get that triple-double.
Yeah.
Which I guess Caitlin Clark, I guess, was the youngest then.
Yeah, I would imagine. The way she got her triple-double is the way you kind of want to see it, though, right? Like she ended up with 11 points.
13 offensive rebounds, 15 defensive rebounds, and
No, so she was actually less involved, which is why it seemed like the way you'd want it, right? She had 11 points, 13 rebounds, and 11 assists. And that assist number is the number you really want to see get bigger, right?
Right.
Because her shooting isn't awesome. So if she can get the boards and dish it out and get those assists, like those are the numbers I want to see bigger. Her actual made baskets, maybe we've seen enough shooting.
So was there any rebounds in that, or was it all legit rebounds?
I mean, I would imagine there was probably a couple. I didn't watch it.
I like the me.
I didn't watch that game. It's all about the me down. Yeah, no, I didn't watch that game. I saw the highlights after the fact. So
okay,
they don't generally show that as a highlight. So I can't speak until they're not usually like, look, she got 5 in a row of her own, so they don't usually,
oh man. Yeah. Wow.
The triple double doesn't count. I mean, a triple double stat book is a triple double. Otherwise, you could say that none of those division titles that Brady won count because there was no other teams that played football while he was there.
Wow. Wow. Yeah.
So, and this right here, Joe, this is exactly how they should use her. She should be the Dennis Rodman. She's a great rebounder. Should be a good at assists, right? Rodman averaged 7 points for his career per game. So I mean, that's really what they need her to do. The fact that she kept, they keep trying to make her their leading scorer. That is a real problem.
Yeah, assists and rebounds. That should be your number. That should be your 2 things you do: assist and rebound.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And I guarantee that team would probably be a lot better off if that was what her focus was, Certainly the field goal percentage would be better.
I can't wait till they actually have to play with each other on an all-star team.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's going to be
That's going to happen. That's going to happen.
They did on the all-star team. Yeah, they played with each other in last year's, right?
Right. Well, and I know the Olympic team lost, right? Like that was the other funny thing about that. They didn't give them the best players, and because they didn't have the best players in the world, they lost.
Yeah, Caitlin Clark. If she's not on the Olympic team, that's an issue. That's an issue. I don't know how you deny her to be on the Olympic team. I know they did it last year, but
I don't know either.
Well,
I would have had her on there
because she hasn't played any basketball yet.
Well, yeah, but I mean, you still have a good idea of what she did at the college level to know that she's gonna have an impact on that team, regardless. At some level, she's gonna have an impact. I mean, there was a time when college players were actually the Olympic team and not the pro team or pro players. There was a time when that happened.
Yeah, well, that was back in the 80s.
Yeah, maybe. It may have been about, yeah, you're right. Because I think the first Dream Team came out, 89, 90, somewhere around there, I guess.
88.
Right? Was it 88? Okay. Yeah.
I mean, that's what I think. I think that's when the first one really came out. Because you think about it, was it 1984 where that situation occurred where the Russians kept calling fouls and stuff like that at the end and redoing the last 7 seconds until they got it right. Like that was the rumor on that one game where it was very odd, but that you could tell that the referees were just going to continue to call a foul until they were able to make the basket to win the game outright against the Americans.
Yeah.
I see 92. So there you go. It might have been because I think, because if I remember, like even there he goes again. Maybe 84 was boycott year.
Right.
Might have been like 84 and 88 were boycott years. That in 84, the Americans boycotted. And then in
Right.
88, the Russians boycotted. I mean, the Russians ain't even allowed right now to still use their flag. It's still like they're still compete. Anybody that they sends under a Olympic flag.
Really? I didn't realize that. So so they can't use their, I guess, and I don't know, does Russia, I mean, the last flag I remember of Russia was the USSR flag. Has it changed since then, their actual flag? I know that obviously the name has changed, right? Now it's Russia. But when it was the Soviet Union, did their flag change when their name changed? Or did it stay the same?
So no. Well, obviously the Soviet Union was the hammer and sickle.
Right.
And then it
Yeah, that
changed to the
flag
Russian
changed.
flag. Yeah, that flag's completely gone.
Okay.
What's different is that because Russia is under Olympic ban at the moment,
Mhm.
that their athletes can only compete under an Olympic flag, not because they can't represent their country.
Oh, is that, and I'm
Yeah.
assuming that's because of everything going on with the Ukraine. That's why they got banned, I'm guessing. Or was there another reason why Russia was banned, that flag or whatever was banned?
So no, it's not the flag. Obviously, it's the
No,
country.
it was the
Well,
country.
that's what I'm saying. The country. I'm saying, is the country banned because of what happened in Ukraine, or is it just, or is there another reason why that country's banned?
I think it has something to do a little bit with the Ukraine. It also has something to do with PDs.
Ah, okay, okay, okay.
So I mean, those countries, Russia, Georgia, Kazakhstan, Uzbekistan, like all the stands, and Turkey, and
Yeah.
India, Russia, China, they get paid to win a gold medal.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like money.
it's that's your livelihood. So it's worth it for them. So they go every which way they can. The problem is that sometimes it's cheating.
Yeah,
And the other problem with that is that the athletes sometimes don't even know that they're cheating
Yeah.
because of the way that they're being trained. They don't know that there's a banned substance that they're being given.
Yeah. In fact, when the Olympics were in Beijing, they had to tell all of the athletes not to eat local chicken because the amount of steroids that were pumped into that food would show up on a drug test.
wow, that's crazy. I didn't realize that. Yeah, that's a good point. I'm thinking, like, if their countries were putting this into their systems and they didn't realize that there were substances that were banned. Yeah, if they did win a medal, but the medal got stripped because of PEDs or whatever, I'm assuming then that they don't get paid at that point, right? It would just be nothing for them.
Well, yeah, you're disqualified, so it'd be like,
Yeah.
yeah.
So, yes. Yeah. Yeah. If I was an athlete, I guess the only way you get paid is if you just do it all natural and forget about the steroids.
Well, and Rob, you're kind of right. Like our athletes, I think, if I remember seeing it right, they make like 50 or 60 grand. That's it. If you win, right? Like if you get a gold, you get like 60 grand. If you're a U.S. athlete,
Not even ours. I mean, I think that there's rules that the U.S. has put into, like you can get endorsements, but that's it. Like you're not getting paid.
well, no, like I know they get some monetary something. Like I know they get something because we do have we're one of the worst compensated for athletes, but I think they do actually get something if they win monetarily. But it's not like where China they actually make some real money, or
Yeah, depending on
Russia
what you come home as the winner of in China, like you Like that's where you get your prestige and your,
Exactly.
you know, thinking about just all the money, like, you know, Yao Ming and stuff like that. Like just, you know, that guy made. I don't know. Each country's different. I learned this all from doing the arm wrestling situation. When I was doing arm wrestling on the world level, you could tell that these guys, when they came home with a gold medal, that's where the money came from. You know,
So
and
I got it right here. It says prize money varies wildly by country. For example, the United States offers 37,500 for gold,
Oh,
22,500 for silver, and 15,000 for bronze. That's what I found.
okay. So 37. That's
yeah,
even worse.
Yeah, it ain't much. They don't get much.
for
But I
the
think you
4
made it on
years
the
that you
elbow.
have trained hardcore, think about that.
Yeah.
$38,000.
Yeah.
And you've trained for 4 years.
Yeah, price, and that's to win it all. That's not like you.
That's $9,500 a year.
That's if you came in and were elite, not like.
Hey, God forbid if you get the bronze, you're only getting 15 grand, Pags.
Yeah.
So do that math.
Well, I mean, but so now think about this in the opposite.
Or you come in fifth and you get nothing.
But think about this. Think about what's his face, the swimmer from Maryland, Phelps.
Oh, yeah.
He made a lot of money
Phelps.
because he had what 8 in one.
Sure. On endorsements.
On one Olympics, but he had 8 in one.
Yeah.
So,
sure.
I mean, I think he had what 30 in his entire Olympics, or 38 or something like that. He was the most decorated Olympian ever, I think.
Yeah. Yep.
So he made a lot of money. Now imagine $38,000 times 30. That's not too bad. That's $1 million. Just about.
And then you got to pay taxes on that prize money too. So that 37,000 becomes even less, doesn't it?
No.
No taxes?
Do not have to pay taxes on that money. Whole different scenario when it comes to the Olympics. You do not pay taxes on Olympic money. Because that money is a gift. That is not a thing. That's a gift from the government. So that's not a taxable thing.
Yeah.
Says the IRS previously viewed Olympic medals and bonuses as they view other prize winnings, like those gained from playing the lottery and casino winnings, meaning that they are taxable. Prize winnings are considered income by the IRS, hence the taxes attached to the cash winnings. I'm just,
I'd say, and that's what that says. Then I'm going to believe that more than what I heard. I thought that it was non-taxable.
No, they look at it as like the same as if you won money at the casino. It's considered prize money.
It's so ridiculous. It is so ridiculous.
Yeah. So 37.5 doesn't look so good after taxes.
I mean, it seems like if you're Team USA, the tax value of $37K isn't a ton anyway. I feel like they could probably just gift that to you.
Right.
Now, hold on, but it does go on to but it does go on to say this though. Now this is interesting. It says, does the tax still apply? And then it says the bonuses are tax-free for most athletes. In October of 2016, President Obama signed the United States Appreciation for Olympians and Paralympians Act into law, which provides an exemption to taxable prizes and awards for the value of the medals awarded and cash bonuses paid to the U.S. Olympic and Paralympic athletes. So it does look like
I thought that was the case. I thought that was the case. That there is no taxes paid on this stuff.
So I do want to make sure we get that.
So it may have been like a taxable thing, but because there's no money really at all. And like I said, when we're comparing this to other countries, like I said, in Kazakhstan, for instance, in their high school classes, they have arm wrestling classes. You could take arm wrestling as an elective in high school in Kazakhstan. Now in Kazakhstan, and like Kazakhstan as a country, like we think of Borat, who is the one guy who was like the ridiculousness on that. But the truth of the matter is that they are that country is probably the most eclectic when it comes to actual. There are people there that look very Norwegian, and
Okay.
then there are people that look very Asian, all part of the same country. And it's and every mix in between. So
Sure.
it's interesting to kind of see, like, and not very friendly to the U.S. Like the U.S. is looked at as um, very snobbish. Like that's how they look at us. It has nothing to do with our money or the flaunting of anything. We're looked at as snobbish. So it's when I was there and I was talking to I was talking to one of the athletes, and it was, like I said, it was interesting to me to see that here it is. You have a guy who looks like he could be Vietnamese, and then a guy who looks like he's from Norway on the same team. And then everything in between. Like, so you have people who look very Turkish and stuff like that. It's a very mixed bag
Yeah.
country, in terms of the different nationalities that where everybody came from originally. And really, they are a Kazakhstanian. You know what I mean? But was very like I was talking to the one guy, and then another guy talked to him, obviously in in Russian. It's really a Russian language they're talking. And I'm like, well, he don't like me too much, does he? He goes, no, he don't like me for talking to you.
Hey, if you want to hear something crazy though, one more thing I want to say about that tax thing. There is one caveat to that. It goes on to say the high-profile athletes who earn at least $1 million a year are still on the hook for the victory tax. So basically, NBA players playing on the U.S. Olympic basketball team or athletes that are getting a large NIL deal, they still got to pay the victory tax. So if you're poor, you don't got to pay nothing. You just get your 37 grand and you walk away. But if you're a $1 million a year guy, you're paying the victory tax. It's crazy, but that's the way the word works. And
Rob, no, the medals are not solid gold. The medals are only worth like, I don't know, like $700-800.
God, they were solid gold. Could you imagine?
Oh, right. So the
man, is that a real gold?
There you go. This is for obviously the Paralympics. It wasn't me that competed, but I was one of the like
cool.
Sponsors and everything. So they gave me this. This is a bronze medal. Obviously, it's pretty heavy. It's and it's solid.
Yep.
But obviously, this is bronze. The gold is golden color. It's like a plated.
Yeah. So the way the gold is constructed, why it's still worth as much as it is 90% of a gold medal is silver, and then it's gold plated.
Yeah, that thing was solid gold. It'd be worth some money.
I mean, it's solid silver, so it is still worth some money. But
yeah,
but no,
it's not a gold killer.
It's not a gold bar. You'd have people.
I gotta imagine someone's gonna need some heavy security to carry that kind of cash around.
You'd have somebody robbing the Olympics every time it came out.
Oh, man. Especially if it's in LA. Nothing against LA, but I'm just saying.
It wouldn't happen stateside. It would be in other countries for sure. But someone would knock off the the armored vehicle that brought the medals.
Ocean's 11 all over again.
Yeah, that's right.
No Olympians get any medals because we have all the medals kind of taken.
You
and
won,
I got
you
on my
gold star. Yep. Man.
And the Olympics are only another year away, so we just got a lot to work that out when that comes.
Yeah, It's still weird. Like, I remember as a kid, it was every 4, right? Because you had the Summer and Winter Olympics in the same year, right? And then they split them up, so it's every 2 years now because they offset the summer and winter. And it makes sense, kind of, but I kind of liked the gap.
Yeah. What y'all think about the Desmond Bain trade from Memphis down to Orlando? That was quite a bit that Orlando gave up just to get him over there.
I don't know anything about it.
Yeah.
I didn't see what the trade was.
It was like 3 players and quite a few first round picks. I mean, they got
Desmond Bain will be worth the price Magic paid for him. That's what this says from 16 hours ago.
Yeah. And I know they gave up a hell of a lot to get that guy. Let me see if I can pull that up here. Says, okay.
Grizzlies ship Bain to Magic for KCP, Anthony, 4 first rounders.
Yeah.
4 first rounders.
Yeah, 4.
Wow.
That's the big part of the fleecing.
Wow.
That's a lot of your future for him.
He better ball out like nobody else.
Right.
4 unprotected first rounders and a pick swap.
Wow.
Well, the Grizzlies will receive the 16th overall pick in 2025, a first round selection in 26, 28, and 30, and 2 top 2 protected swap rights to a first round selection in 29.
That's crazy.
The 26 pick includes swap rights from either the Phoenix Suns or Washington Wizards.
That's crazy. That is freaking crazy. I mean, the guy that the Grizzlies made out like a bandit with that one, honestly. Now, I mean, obviously, you never know what picks are going to pan out, but still, you got 4 chances to pick up a Desmond Bain equivalent or better, plus the 3 players.
I mean, I didn't think the Magic were close enough to be like, let's go get a big splash player.
Right.
Like, I get it if you're like, you know what, we need that piece to win a championship.
All right.
They weren't in the playoffs, right? I missed that.
No, Orlando wasn't in the playoffs.
No, that's what I'm saying.
Were they in the were they top 10?
Yes.
They did get into 10.
Oh, they were in the
at
plan.
One point, Orlando was actually playing pretty well, I thought.
Actually, Orlando was in the 7th spot in the Eastern.
Oh, okay. I mean, even still, like, that just doesn't feel like a mortgage my future. We're right here. Let's get the ring. Like, it just didn't feel like they were in that spot.
They were obviously in the play-in. Their record was 41-41, so they finished at 500 for the season.
Yeah, see, that doesn't scream super close. Right?
No,
like, I got it when like the Rams did it. Hey, we're gonna go buy some people. We're close enough. Let's go get this ring. Right?
Yeah.
This is like, you know what? We are trying to sell tickets, and this guy will bring people in.
Right. And Memphis, I mean, they were 48-34, and I felt like obviously they're going to get better with this.
Exactly.
Well, both of these teams were knocked out in the first round, though.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So that's kind of where that all falls into play.
But that really does help Memphis's future, though, having those picks. Obviously, I mean, that's a big step forward in their building of their team if they draft right or if their drafts work out. Yeah, that was another big one out there. Devers was hitting 272.
Yeah, you knew he was gone though.
Yeah, because he wasn't happy. He wasn't happy being a DH. He wasn't happy when they put him over to first base. I just felt like Boston was just kind of feeling like, okay, this guy's not as disgruntled. We're obviously not really going anywhere. We're kind of pooping the bed this year, so I guess maybe they felt like it was time to move on. Maybe,
Well,
I guess Bregman kind of accelerated that process. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing is he was feeling lied to. He's not happy about being there. They're not resolving it. They were going to move on from him, anyway. So this really isn't that big of a shock.
Here's another thing that cracks me up. Report: Durant prefers Spurs, Rockets, or Heat if traded by Suns.
Yeah, and I pray to God it's not the Rockets that lands him. I pray to God it's not him. I feel like that's such a huge step back from what this team is trying to evolve into. You know what I mean?
So I guess here's the thing. If he can go to a team where he doesn't have to be the leader, where he can just go out there and play basketball, which is the only thing he wants to do, right? Like, he's shown that he doesn't want to be that guy. Anytime he's had his best success is not when he's been the guy running the show, right? So if he can land on a team where he's not the guy, he just gets to go out there and do what he does, he'll be a good fit because that's all he wants to do. Every time he's had to go be Batman, he's just not, right? Like he has the talent to be, but he is Robin. He needs someone else to be the guy. And whenever he's had that ability, that's when he's played his best. So, I mean, I don't know if he can land on a team that has a strong face and he just gets to come in and do what he does. I think he can still be a really effective piece.
Yeah, I just think at his age for the Rockets, and again, it would depend on what the Rockets would have to give up to make this trade work. I just think that's a huge. If it's key players like Sagoon or I don't know whoever else, then I just don't think that's a good idea. Now, I certainly don't want to give up these young draft picks because I'd rather have the young athletes than the older guy that's got maybe 1 or 2 years left of competitiveness in him before he's out the league.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, you're not going to have to give up much to go get Durant. The Suns wanted to get rid of him this last season.
Right. So what do you think it would take? What do you think they would require for him if you had to put an idea on it?
I mean, that's tough to say.
Right.
That really depends on who thinks they have the leverage in that deal.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, the Spurs could make a ton of sense. Absolutely. Yeah. No, I don't know. I think that one will be an interesting one to watch to see what the trade value actually is for KD, who's a guy that, is quite a few years removed from being on really good teams. It's been a lot of disasters really since the Golden State years.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Maybe I mean, would it make sense for him to go to the Lakers, maybe even, and team up with Luka and Braun?
Yeah, what other old guy can they get? Can they
bring? You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying, like, hey, I mean, it sounds like a very Laker kind of thing to do, though, right? I mean, Lakers like a splash. They like to splash, right?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, the Lakers can splash all they want. It's when you're playing in the kiddie pool now, because that's really what they're doing. Even though they're that old, it's like all the old people. It's the splash is like, somebody's doing like the calisthenics in the pool with them.
Hey, or maybe we send him over to the Sixers and team up with Paul George and Embiid and Maxey and company.
You could do whatever you want with the Sixers. I could care less at the moment.
That's how I know Tyson has gotten to the indifferent. And when you become indifferent, that's when you know a guy is truly done with his team or his wife, whichever one you want to look at it. There's no more love. There's no more hate.
Yeah. No, I get it.
But we are, I think, well, no, just about done here. We got to make sure that we're paying attention since we started late today.
Yep. Yeah, we're closing in. I got about 8 minutes left. But yeah, I mean, I guess we should talk a little bit of NBA, I suppose. Got
I was going to say, this is game 5 tonight. This is a 3-game series now. which is really interesting to me. I think that I would have never suspected it to go 7 games. I just didn't think that the Pacers were as good of a team as
Yep.
they are showing, or that OKC is as nervous. Because I really
Yes.
think OKC should have run away with this series. I think that
Yeah.
this series should have been over in 5. But
I've thought 6, but I didn't think I thought it was going to be like the, 3-1 Pacers desperation win, right? For game 5, and then they close it out kind of deal. The fact that we're sitting at 2-2 and you've watched a couple of collapses in the 4th by OKC.
And won by
Pacers.
Indiana. Yeah.
Yeah. No, so I mean, and it's funny because it appears, now that we're 4 games in, you have to have 111 points or more to win. Like that 111 is the benchmark. 2 of the games have been won by that, and then the other 2 or more. So if you hit 111, you have a good chance of winning.
Well, I think the biggest thing for OKC is they can't let Indiana, because the last 2 games they let Indiana come out hot offensively. They have not put the defense on them. They've really let them take charge offensively. The OKC's got to put that clamp down on them defensively, control the tempo a little bit so that they're not winning. Because I think it was game 3, if you watched OKC, where SGA was bent over at the foul line, with his knees. And I just felt like they look exhausted. That's when they went, 32-18, I think, in that 4th quarter. So OKC's got to control the tempo a little bit and not let Indiana just have, running them up and down, because it's going to kill them. Cardiovascular is going to kill them.
So that's funny, though, because that is actually OKC's style also. Like, they're also very fast. That's how they beat so many teams this year, is they run up and down the court also. That's why we thought this was going to be such a fast series, because both these teams like to play with a lot of pace. Fun with puns today. So, but yeah, no, it's they'd be tired because this is the way they play.
Right. And I agree. I felt like, and that's why I felt like this was going to go 7, only because of the fact that these guys match up really well, right? I mean, they're both fast-paced teams. They both have good offenses. Pacers are showing you that they can play defense, and obviously OKC number 1 D. They both have good coaches. Everything's somewhat in alignment with them that I did see us going 7, just because I felt like they matched up so well together, And it's starting to get a little bit chippy.
Yeah,
if you notice that last game, it's starting to get a little bit chippy in there a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, the biggest thing is they're very similar teams. OKC is just a little deeper and a little better at doing the exact same thing. That's why I thought it was going to be a 6-game series. But I mean, as it looks now, I mean, this could definitely go 7.
And I wouldn't be surprised, though, if the chippiness, as they hate seeing each other all the time, because now you got to figure they've seen each other enough now where they're starting to get a little bit aggravated maybe with the other team. And so I wouldn't be surprised as they go into game 7 that the chippiness starts to come out a little bit more.
Well, let's get to game 7 first. Let's worry about game 5. That's tonight.
It is. In OKC, baby. So, yeah, you're right. But I do think, and I do think if OKC really wants to win this series, tonight is a huge game for them, because it really would set the tone going. You damn sure don't want to go back to Indiana and give it back to them as home court, being down 3-2. That would absolutely be horrible for OKC.
I don't think it matters. They've split in both locations, right?
Right, but if you, I get what you're saying, but I feel like if they lose this one, that's giving up so much momentum to the Pacers going back to their home court where they really relish in that Indiana crowd. I don't know, man. That would be a tough place to try to get that 4th win or that 3rd win for OKC if they didn't get it tonight.
I don't know. Both these teams have proven they can win on the road. I would say this being 2-2 right now says more about the Pacers than it does about OKC.
Absolutely. I agree.
Like I think it shows a lot more fight out of the Pacers than I probably gave them credit for, even though they've come from behind a lot during this, postseason and stuff. To me, when you're coming back from behind a lot, usually means at some point law of averages means you're going to lose, right? It's hard to sustain that, but they've found a way to make that work. And so it's, I think it's telling me more about their resolve than really what I'm anything about OKC, right?
And I gotta tell you, man, I think Obi Toppin is really. I'm to the side of Obi Toppin that I never saw in New York, and I think Obi Toppin in this series is starting to show you who he is as a basketball player off the bench. I mean, between him and Mathurin and what Mathurin did with that 27 points off the bench, OKC's bench is really showing you a lot more about this Indiana team than just that starting five.
No, that's what I mean. Like,
the
Pacers have played above where I thought they would.
Yeah.
OKC is exactly who they look like they should be. Now, I didn't have the fourth quarter meltdowns, but I mean, those kind of things happen.
Yeah. Yeah. And I really think the big thing for them, obviously you got the main players, but I think that Harkenstein and I think that Caruso from the defensive standpoint is going to be huge for those guys. But Chet Holmgren, that's the one thing I take away from these few games that I've seen is that Chet Holmgren isn't inserting himself enough. I want to see more out of Chet Holmgren to see where this OKC team really is. Because I just feel like Holmgren just has not really put himself in there enough.
Yeah.
Well.
And of course, we'll find out tonight, 5:30 Pacific, Game 5, NBA Finals. Should be a good one. If you're watching alongside us right here, be sure to like and subscribe. And of course, if you're watching on Roku, stay tuned for the next hour. Otherwise, we're going to get out of here and, send a message to StreamYard to see why their product sucks.
Right. We want a 20% discount, StreamYard. 20%!
Right. Killing me, guys. Other than that, enjoy the rest of your day, guys. We'll see y'all tomorrow.